is, and not just any Protoss, but some of the best Protoss in the world. Unlike, unlike of the other races.
I would. I mean, TY signed up, you know, that one time.
Signed up once.
True. Not consistent. Like, consistently, we get the best Protosses here. We get Stats, we get Zest, we get Trap, we get SOS. Everyone is here. And speaking of, we've got one of them right here in front of us. The first lobby has been made. We are loading in to Everdream.
What a map to start this series off on. Because when you're playing against SOS, you kind of think that it's a dream. Sometimes you think it's a nightmare, but...
Oh, I did Nightmare sign up this week?
Not this week, but...
I know he was here last week.
Yeah, always sort of in the back of your mind.
Yeah, definitely. I saw him in game earlier, which is why I was hoping, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, that's a bit of misfortune. And speaking of misfortune, we are now on Everdream. Hell, ideally Edle. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map. Spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the Red Terran player coming down all the way from the land of Korea. He is gonna be representing Archangel Academy, the Archangel of Hype himself, #1 hype man KR, and we're gonna give it up for Control.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Jin-Air Green Wings. We see him here as a barcode, but he is SOS.
Ooh, boy. And we talked quite a bit about Control here in the lead up to this lobby, but talking a little bit about SOS for a second, I would like to point out that for 2 weeks in a row, SOS has made it to the semifinals, and actually got taken out by the eventual champion, first in Dark and later in Stats.
Yeah, like it goes to show that SOS, even though like a lot of people do sleep on him as like the best Protoss, like a lot of people look at Trap, Stats, Zest, like he is still very formidable. He's a very scary opponent, and yeah, like he definitely has what it takes to, you know, go all the way to the ace match against the best in the world. And maybe one day, maybe this week, we'll see, he can finally take a win for himself.
Yeah, that's not the most out there thing in the world right now. The way I see it is that while, you know, you have your players like Stats and like Trap who can reliably take out one another, I don't really see SOS on that level, but I do see SOS taking them out on a good day.
Yeah, like even though we say that, like consistently he does go to the ace match against these guys, like especially against Dark we saw last time, right? He definitely could have taken that series. It was very close. It was a very intense.
He almost did.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's great that in more recent weeks and more recent months we've been able to see SOS, you know, come in here, showcase his skill, and perform well. You know, when he's not off racing.
Exactly. I suppose that is another thing that really determines whether or not these players sign up is the fact that is generally whether or not they have a premier event or an offline event coming up. And SOS, I think we haven't seen him in a while in any offline events, have we?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in general, people haven't been going to offline events, but
I mean, in GSL, but
yeah, we can definitely, you know, put GSL there. And yeah, I agree, and it's great that ESL Open Cups, they have such a large prize pool where it is like it really does incentivize people who, you know, maybe don't have a big thing to work towards to make this that big thing every single week and keep them playing, keep them practicing, you know, have something to work towards.
And you know what? I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Just means you get to see more of them.
It's great. It's great to have this weekly, another weekly alongside Olima League where these Korean players can really shine, and we'll see how this goes. As so far this game, we do see a couple of adepts out here for SOS. As behind this, SOS is going for a Blink Stalker opener.
Yeah, a little bit sneaky right now. That would normally suspect the player this dedicated to Adepts to be going for Blink Stalkers. The Adepts do mention Seacon in. Wall was not quite a wall right now.
Ooh, yeah, and a lot of friendly fire as well. Oh my god, if he drags another shot!
He did manage to drag him into a shot, and a couple of SCVs going down into friendly fire there.
Yeah, that was actually really smart, because I think SOS intentionally tried to drag that Widowmine shot. That's what it looked like anyway. But, yeah, that was really well done.
And now Control, he's going to have to make use of those mines that he's already used earlier.
Yeah, and to that point, like, they were revealed as well. Like, unfortunately, for that split moment, Control, he wasn't keeping an eye on his ramp, and those Adepts got in, and they didn't just kill a couple of drones, a couple of SCVs, they also scouted the opener. So SOS knows that it was a Widowmine drop opener.
And I'm just looking over here in the main base right now, like, the medevac is starting to go in, but the Stalkers are going forth. The mines do manage to get off. One of them should burrow, but will get taken out and revealed. It is why you get an armor.
Yeah. This is... you keep trying to make that one work, don't you?
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes, to be fair,
sometimes they were
players
planning on
do
getting
it.
detection, and then they have to get detection.
Sometimes. And so far, SOS hasn't lost anything. Oh, he runs into the Liberator!
Huh. Yeah, so Controller is really looking to, take control of this game and apply the pressure himself. Try to turn this around. SOS being so active on the map, though, being able to just pick things off as they move out.
Yeah, that was one of those happy accidents. SOS, he was out on the map trying to hunt down the medevac that was trying to escape, and he just happened to run into the Liberator. He's like, oh, okay, sure, I'll take this.
Yeah. Special snack
oh my god,
before the main course.
Yeah, and speaking of that snack, he does get through the bunker, does blink on forward, and now is forcing all this lost mining time at the gases.
Look at that, not even losing a single stalker.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, SOS's blink control has generally been pretty... kind of something he's been known for. I don't want to say the defining feature, because it's clearly not.
Yeah. I mean, that does kind of go to Hero, ex-CJ Hero. He was known for his amazing Blink Stalker play. I guess before him, I guess was parting in many aspects.
MC
but
a little bit.
Oh, true, MC. Yeah. There's been a lot of great Protoss players.
But I tell you what, they weren't known for though, like multi-prong harass with the chargelets. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe that was Slipper Hero, but. I feel like that's more common amongst Protoss players.
Yeah, nowadays. Back then, he was more of a pioneer of that style.
And that's a lot of chargelets, I gotta tell you, Light.
That's an insane amount of chargelets. And what does Control have defensively? Like, does he have like tanks in position?
No, in fact, he has nothing in position. He's trying to go for this Warp Prism, and SOS is content to lead him on. Warps in right on top of that, going up onto the ramp. And this Blink should not be able to clear the infantry, but already the tank has gone down. There's another tank in the back line, but honestly, what's that one tank going to do against this many chargelets?
True. Part of me feels like this may have been good for Control, because I don't know if you saw he was able to snipe the Warp Prism and cancel the Warp in. So there was like kind of... Yeah, there was a bit of a trade there. He was able to do that, but he also lost a tank in the process. But that does kind of take the wind out of the sail from like SOS's aggression.
Yeah, no, Control just has the safety and has the security to secure that third base and really start to macro up. I am a little bit worried for him, as SOS is now getting into double Colossus production. Thermal Ant just about going to be finishing up. So Control does need to do something, whether it's a double drop somewhere or some sort of timing attack. He's got to start applying some pressure on his opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the only pressure he's tried to apply was in the beginning of the game, and it was completely shut down, which was really unfortunate. Like, the Liberator, the Widowmine drops, like, it just didn't work out for him. But this time, here we go. He's starting to move out with 4 full medevacs.
How many Stalkers are in that army right now, Light? That's what I want to know. How many Stalkers are there? Blinks right on for it. Picks up a medevac. Picks up another. Picks up a third. And 1 medevac is remaining. GG.
Yep.
I would do that too.
Oh my god, that's fair. That's fair. In a
Yep.
blink of an eye, in a couple of seconds, we saw those 4 medevacs. They went right past an observer. So SOS had full vision of where that drop was, where it was going, and just like that, he blinks on top of it, takes out 3 full medevacs, and
that was done.
yeah,
Gee.
yeah. Oof, that was rough. And yeah, we'll see if Control is able to bring it back. Again, like, I don't think, like, in general, his opener was done well. It's just like these small little mistakes, like, you know, letting the Adepts in, like the Liberator accidentally running into those Stalkers as well. You know, just little things that if he fine-tuned a little bit, then he would have been in a much better position.
He definitely would be. Eventually, that quadruple drop was kind of his last stand there.
Yeah.
It was a desperate move, and as you were saying, if the opening was a little bit more fine-tuned, which it's hard for me to really blame him. He was getting pressured by those Adepts quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he was able to
definitely.
fine-tune those, he wouldn't have had to go for the quadruple drop, and we would have probably seen a much different game coming out on Everdream.
Yeah. And there's a lot that goes into it, right? Like, it isn't just like the aggression in game, but also the fact that you know you're up against SOS. Literally one of the best players in the world, one of the most renowned players in the world. Like, that also does, you know, affects how you approach and how you play the game.
Yeah, at the back of your mind, you're always going to be thinking, what is he going to do? What is he going to go for here?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Haas effect.
A little bit like that, yeah. And so we get the Haas effect. We are now on Pillars of Gold, LE. Holding up the Golden Wall, LE. Protecting the Eternal Empire, LE, of which the LE submarines are hidden. In the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way to the top right-hand corner map, we have the Red Terran. Coming out all the way from the land of Korea. Gonna be representing the Archangel Academy. He's got 2 months left to compete. He's gonna be showing us something. We have the #1 hype man KR, Control.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Jinner Green Wings Protoss player representing, as I said, Jaguar.
Yeah.
It is SOS.
Always known as Barcode.
Yeah. It's a shame that SOS, you know, he may just not have an account with SOS as the name. Like, it's very possible.
So?
Yeah.
I
mean,
like to imagine that
you know,
Maru is holding it hostage.
It's that's also possible. I mean, a lot of players, like, they have their ladder account, which is their barcode account, and then they have a tournament account. It doesn't make a lot of sense to use your barcode account in tournament play because because you're just outing yourself like, oh, this is the SOS account, you know?
Well, kind of, because there are a lot of things going into it. You know, there are a lot of different capital and lowercase i's that go into making a barcode, and if somebody was really vigilant, they'd probably be able to discern it while they were on the ladder, but otherwise, they're probably just gonna look at it once and go, oh, okay. That being said, SOS does not use Kaczynski.
That's true. I don't think True uses it either actually. But yeah, because of that, like, I think maybe SOS just doesn't care. As in, like, he isn't necessarily concerned about having a barcode or not, and whether people know. It's just like, this is just his account, you know? Like, he's not gonna make another one. Like, yeah.
I remember when that was the case for Innovation until I think somebody at the Hook Gaming yelled at him.
Yeah. You know, I guess luckily Jinner Green Wings aren't as strict, but I think that's also because they don't have an in-game clan tag, so...
Yeah. Definitely hurts out a little bit. SOS going for that proxy robo facility in a PvT. This is already scouted out by Control. He knows that this is coming. Might not know specifically that it's a warp prism though.
Huh, yeah, this is a really interesting proxy. So he gets that proxy robo, he immediately starts that warp prism. He has, I think, 2 gateways behind this, so he can fly in and warp in, and warp gate's about to finish as well. 1, oh.
Is 1.
What's the play here?
Well, I thought maybe he'd be a little more patient, get some mortals out, but he's going straight in with one stalker? Alright, so...
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, what's the play?
I guess it's just some pressure. I guess he kind of realized from game number 1 that Control, if SOS is able to pressure him enough, Control can just kind of snap, and we already kind of see it right now. The bunker is being built on the high ground. Control playing this very defensively.
Yeah, already getting at that Cyclone, and with that Cyclone, this should kind of shut this down. Like, it's so, you have to be so careful with your Warp Prism. If it gets locked onto by that Cyclone, you can lose it very easily. Even getting a Viking as well, oh my god.
But I think this is exactly what SOS wants. Immortal comes out. And is there going to be enough units here? There will be, especially thanks to some nice last-minute micro juggling with Warp Prism. And Warp Prism goes down to the Viking and the Cyclone. And that's just about going to be shutting this down for SOS. Control, taking back control of the game, but I think the damage has already been dealt.
I mean, kind of, like, that wasn't it. That, you say that was shut down. That was like a capital shutdown. Like, he took out the Warp Prism and the Immortal, and he didn't really get too much damage on. Like, maybe if he killed the Cyclone, maybe if he killed a couple more units, then it would have been worth it. But I feel like this investment from SOS was far too costly. In saying that, though, it did delay Control's natural for a long time, and maybe that in and of itself is kind of worth it. As long as he holds defensively, he should be okay.
I'm starting to think that's a bit of a big if right now. Yeah, I think there are some variations of this Warp Prism build that work out a little bit better than this, where you're not getting the Immortal out, you're just going back home, going to be focusing entirely on your defenses. SOS right now with one shield battery, second on the way, but I feel like this is enough firepower for Control.
Oh yeah, we'll see. Shield Battery Overdrive is being used, and it is within range of the Stalker, so he goes on forward, picks off the tank, and now he's able to kite back, takes out the Viking as well. Oh my god, the Medivac! Okay, the Medivac does escape, but the Cyclone gets taken out as well. Like, he just gets so much value.
Exactly, Control trying to establish a foothold here, but in the end, gonna have to be settling for less than ideal.
Exactly. I mean, this is really nice. He's shelling away at the high energy shield battery, but oh my god, there's a DT here.
But the Liberator is definitely going to be helping out quite a bit. Control, do you have a scan on you?
Oh my god, he only has one orbital and he does not have a scan, and there's a DT across the map as well.
Is DT across the map? Scan has just been used up here and there's not enough left. GG is called. And SOS will be moving on to face the winner of Rex and Probe.
Oh, okay. Sorry, GG, well played, SOS. He 2-0's Control. That last game, like, I definitely do think Control had things swung in his favor, but like we were talking about it, his natural was really delayed, which means he only had one orbital to rely on for scans, and it looked like that he had muled recently, so he just wasn't expecting DTs, and yeah, it just completely caught him off guard.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, on the one hand, it looks like SOS was kind of doing whatever, and it ended up working out. Maybe a couple of last-minute decisions here and there once he realized what position he was in. On the other hand, it fit together so perfectly, you kind of have to wonder, was he just thinking a bajillion steps ahead?
I feel like we have to be a little bit careful when it comes to like SOS. Like, we're gonna end up down the rabbit hole. Like, did he know that this was like how many steps ahead was he? Is he really playing 4D chess right now? And then we're lost. Our minds are just gone.
Yeah, exactly. I think like, okay, he's 10 steps ahead, but how does that convert from Imperial to Metric?
Yeah. How big is a step? Like, how big are his feet, you know? Like,
yeah. Is he lunging forward? Is he lunging his legs? Or is he taking, like, just tiptoeing? Well, Evan, you never know.
These are the questions we need answered. And, oh, sorry.